Hi there, Jonathan, back with you once again, and today we're going to be talking about the overview of the month for results for January, about looking at where we are in terms of the journey, what sort of things have started to impact the results, and what do we need to do next to make sure we hit those targets of that 240 grand in sales and $120,000 in profit. But just before I get into the detail of that, it's a quick snapshot of yesterday. Yesterday was a pretty poor day in terms of sales, $610, and our ad spend at 408, giving us a $554 ad spend. So a very paltry sort of $56 profit. barely a profit, but it is just about there. So fortunately, things today look somewhat better. We're at 771 and at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So if all goes well, fingers crossed, we could be more around the 900 or maybe even a bit more. So it's more promising. But you know, that's the whole thing. We can't get caught up in the day to day because it's more about the week to week and in fact month to month figures that gives us an indication of really what's going on, what things have we done, what's worked, and how do we need to modify things going forwards. So this is a snapshot, and I'll look into the spreadsheet, share that with you in a bit more detail in just a second. But first of all, overall, the very top line figure. So we're actually into month 6 now, but I was away during the end of month 5, so we're just going to have a look at where we were at the end of January, at the end of month 5. So we know our sales target is 240,000 for the year, with a profit of 120,000. So sales to date after our 5 months is 123,725. Our target at this point should be around 100. So we're actually over target in terms of our sales, which is good, but our profit target is 120,000, and we should already be at 50,000 on that at the end of month 5. We're actually at 44,570, so we are currently behind target of 5,430. So yeah, that's it's a bit of a chunk behind target there. It's 10% behind where we want to be. So it's going to be very much about what we can do in this from month 6 onwards to pull this back to keep hitting the target, because that's what I'm determined to do. So the other thing we've got here, we can see what's happening the trend wise. Let me just move myself out of the way. You can see here, and this is what's really useful by being able to zoom out. You get to see a broader picture of what's happening. And one of the most important things really is the ratio of this sales top line to profit on the bottom line. Ideally, they should be tracking in parallel to each other. Where they've separated apart here, we can see that gap's opened and the gap's opened here, which means that obviously we're driving sales, but we're not getting the profitability out of it. And if we look at the numbers themselves here, this is a sales month by month. We can see they're all sort of reasonably in the range. January was like sort of noticeably higher, but as was the ad spend in January. So it did produce a little bit more profit, but not necessarily in proportion to the ad spend. And we can see here, this is the percentages. I had the best month in my very first month. Since then it dropped down to 35, then down to 27, a really bad month in November, 35 back up to 36. So it certainly gives you an indication that we've got to be tracking closer to 40% plus if I'm going to try and get, well, obviously it needs to be 50% to absolutely track where we're going. But if I'm over target in sales, if I keep 50%, I'll be over target in profit. But let's have a look at a bit more detail now, so I can share with you exactly what's going on. So this is the actual spreadsheet that I've got, and you can see what I've done. Now I am putting together at the moment like a month by month sort of summary report of what's gone on, because there's so much has gone on in every single month in terms of the number of tests I've run, what I've done, what worked, what didn't. So as I progress, I'm trying to consolidate this all together. But when I first started off, I was recording the data every couple of weeks, and then I moved into just once a month. Obviously in November we had that launched that second funnel, which was very much the beginner's funnel, and that obviously didn't help in terms of profits, because that sort of lost money in November, and it lost even more money in December, and hence in January I decided to cut that funnel and just focus on the risk one, which is my original one. So as you can see here, got 397 new customers, which was good. That's down a bit on December, but my ad spend was quite a bit up from the December. Did well on the sort of sales, only a little bit slight gain on the margin, but this is what we've said, the three numbers that are really important is our CPA, as in cost per acquiring a customer, average order value, which is our AOV, and the final thing is the lifetime value. They're my real focus points about when I'm making any changes to the funnel. That's what I'm working on. Now CPA, we saw that took a jump in January, and there's a lot of factors involved in it, but sometimes it's just the actual what's happening on the Facebook ads platform. Traffic costs fluctuate from day to day, week to week, and month to month. So all we can do is do the best we can by either making sure that we're getting the right creative out there and testing it. We're testing our landing pages to try and continually optimize. Those two areas will help us reduce that CPA. Then the AOV, average order value. I've tested different price points, struggled to get that over $27 as an impulse purchase. The order bump seems to be going up at the right level. That's about 17. The upsell is the real thing that I've yet to crack, and that's the thing that is potentially damaging this average order value or preventing me from really pushing it up. And then if I look at the lifetime value over the 60 days, it's what we're doing in the back end side of things. Now I have seen a little bit of improvement of that. So over our sort of 60 days, we're getting a $58 per lifetime value, and it went up to 63 in January. My target is really more like 70 for February, and we've got to continually try and push that outwards by really coming up with some different offers, and really make sure we're engaging our audience. So this is really useful in terms of stopping me just having knee-jerk reactions to things. Gives you a chance to step back and look at the bigger picture of it. Stop yourself panicking about things, realizing I'm sort of on track. I'm not a million miles off, but I need to focus on increasing that margin. So that's what all the split tests are all about. They're all about making those changes. And you have to realize, as I've said before, when you're doing split tests, they sort of they carry a cost of doing them, because you're always diluting your control by trying a different option, an A/B test. So your control is A1, but if you're losing on your split tests, they're not beating the control, then to a certain extent you're sort of wasting a bit of budget, but actually what you're doing is you're investing that budget to try and improve your numbers. And that's the sort of the mindset you have to have about all of this going forwards. So yeah, that's where we are. And actually 19th of Feb, we're only like sort of less than 10 days away really from the end of the month, which is the end of month 6. So it'll be interesting to see what's happening. I know February's been a bit of a challenging month. I've actually been away for half of it, so we'll see what impact that has had on the numbers. But tomorrow I'm going to be closing off some split tests, talking about some new tests that I'm going to be running, and yeah, plenty more to work on as we go on this journey. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll catch up with you again tomorrow. Bye for now.